Hello, my name is Heather, and today we're going to talk about developing an emergency plan and a go bag for your pet in the event that you're unable to care for your pet during COVID-19. The first step is to identify a family member, a friend, a neighbor who would be willing to take care of your pet in the event you cannot. Obviously, the best place for your pet is at home with family, but if this is not possible, we need to prepare a go bag. Do this now so it is ready if the need arises. Put it in your front hall or closet so it is easy to find. So now let's talk about the critical items that are part of your go bag. To start, we need something to put things in. So this can be a plastic tote or a material tote, anything that you have that will fit the materials that you're going to need. And let's start with food. Food is extremely important, whether it's cat food, dog food, bird food, small animal food, dry food, canned food, or even other types of food. You want to make sure that you have at least 14 days supply so that your caretaker does not have to rush out and find food. You also want to make sure that you have, in the case of dogs and cats, 2 regular bowls. Obviously the size of the bowls will be dictated by the size of the animal, and in case of the small animal it might look a little different. You might have a bowl for the seed or for the food, but then you're going to have a water bottle for the water. The way you feed also might change depending on whether or not you have a dog or a cat. In some households, you have dogs that really like to gulp down food, so you can use things like wobblers, or you have a slow feed bowl. Please make sure those go along with detailed descriptions of how you would use them when feeding your pet so that your pet's routine does not change. Along with food, it's really important that we have treats. This is an extremely stressful time for our pets, so we want to make sure that we reward them often so that they get into the new routine and the new environment. So make sure you have an ample supply of kitty or puppy treats or small animal treats to go along. Of course, with dogs and cats, the next thing you're going to need is to make sure that they are wearing a collar. In the case of cats, a breakaway collar is really important. Make sure that they have tags that trace back to you on them. A license is also really important. And if your pet is microchipped, that's wonderful, but please make sure with the microchipping company your information is up to date, especially your emergency contact person who is going to become your caretaker at this point. You also want to make sure that whatever equipment your dog normally works with, whether it's a harness or a head halter or just a straight collar, that comes along too. We want the routine to be as normal as it possibly can. And of course, don't forget the leash. It's vitally important at this time that our pets remain on leash so that we don't lose them and so that we can keep appropriate social distancing. Of course, we can't forget play. Play is really important, especially during stressful times. So make sure that you have a supply of your pet's favorite toys, whether it happens to be a case of a ball for your dog or a cat wand for your cat, or maybe they prefer sort of soft, squishy toys that make noise or a coil. Make sure you have some toys for your pets to play with. With dogs, it's also, if you have Kongs, send along some Kongs that are stuffed. It'll give your pet something to do while it is with the caretaker. Another important thing is medication. If your pet is on medication, it's vital that you have 30 days of supply because during COVID-19 it may be more difficult to get refills to prescriptions. So make sure that you have the medication. Even if it's preventative medication, make sure that goes along as well, and provide a detailed description of how much, when you give it, the method you give it, and the storage method for the medication when it is not in use. That's really important. Differences between cats and dogs. Obviously with cats, they come with a litter pan. So don't forget the litter pan, that's vital. Your caretaker is truly going to appreciate having that. And along with that, you're going to make sure that you have a scoop and again, 14 days minimum supply of litter. You also want to have some means of containing your pet. In the case of cats, you'll want to have a carrier ready should they need to be transported. And it's also a good idea to have a crate for your dog. While we are in our homes, it's a great opportunity for us to teach our dogs to use a crate, and it's really helpful for the caretaker so that they can safely look after your pet when you're not there. And finally, it's really important that we have some paperwork that goes along. At the very top, you can add in an envelope or a file folder that contains some basic information for your caretaker. That information should include your information, contact information, a description of your pet, detailed as you can, breed, sex, color, type of coat, does it have a microchip, is it wearing a license, what are the microchip and license numbers, back to feeding, how much, when, where, how do you store the food, information on the veterinarian. Who is the veterinarian? What veterinary clinic do you use? How do you contact them? What's the phone number? And then finally, detailed information about the routines of your pet. What does your pet like to do? How many walks a day do you go for? Do you have a dog that's scared of thunderstorms? Or do you have a cat that doesn't like seeing cats on the outside of the house and reacts poorly? Those are all pieces of information that are really, really helpful to your caretaker to make sure that everything goes really, really well with your pet. Also, you want to have a copy of vaccinations in the case of cats and dogs. That's very helpful. And a picture of your pet. Not that your pet is going to go missing, but should it go missing, you will have all the details to be able to contact the Lost and Found Department of the Humane Society to follow up to make sure that the pet comes back home safely. And finally, you want to have a release form for the veterinarian. That's vital so that if for whatever reason your pet becomes sick or ill, that you have a way to make sure that your pet is covered and that your caretaker can get the medical care your pet needs. And this should go on the very top of your care bag or your go bag so that make sure that the information is readily available to your caretaker. So I want to thank you all for watching this video and for taking the time to prepare for the well-being of your pet. That's awesome. For more information, visit us at omhs.ca. And of course, stay safe.